Countercurrent gas exchange in fish gills by KayScience.com. So we're now going to take a look at the gas exchange in a blood capillary of a gill. The top region represents the water, and the bottom region represents the blood capillary inside the gill. So this here is the water, and as water enters over the gill, there's going to be a high concentration of oxygen in the water. And the blood flows in the opposite direction to the water. The blood that enters the gills is going to have a high concentration of carbon dioxide in it. That's what I'm representing here. And the water that's going to flow over the blood capillaries is going to have a high concentration of oxygen in it. Oxygen is going to diffuse from the water into the blood capillaries from a high to low concentration. This is what's happening here. So there is a diffusion of oxygen from the water to blood from a high to low concentration. And this oxygen then gets carried away by the blood to respiring cells. And as the water flows over the gills, there's going to be less oxygen in the water. So the oxygen is then going to diffuse from the water into the blood. And then as the water moves further down, there is less oxygen in the water. But because there's a higher concentration of carbon dioxide, the concentration gradient is maintained. So the oxygen is still going to diffuse into the blood from the water. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. As the blood enters the gas exchange site in the lamellae, the carbon dioxide in the blood is going to diffuse into the water. This carbon dioxide is then removed from the fish via the water out of the gills. So as the blood flows through the capillaries of the lamellae, there's going to be less carbon dioxide in the blood, as you can see here. Because there's a higher concentration of oxygen in the water, that will maintain the concentration gradient of the carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide is going to diffuse from the blood into the water at a higher rate. So the blood, as it leaves the gills via the blood capillaries, with a high concentration of oxygen in it, but a low concentration of carbon dioxide, and the water, as it leaves the gills, is going to have a high concentration of carbon dioxide, but a low concentration of water. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. So remember, the carbon dioxide is removed into the water out of the fish. And at this point here, there is oxygen in the blood which is delivered to respiring cells. So the water and the blood move in opposite directions to one another to maintain a concentration gradient for increased rate of diffusion of oxygen into the blood from the water and carbon dioxide out of the blood and into the water. So if water travels in this direction, blood is going to travel in the opposite direction to the water. This is to maintain the concentration gradient. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. Press pause to practice using those key words. The answers will follow. Press pause to go through your answers and make any corrections to your mistakes. Press pause to answer the questions. The answers will follow. And if you're stuck, just re-watch the video. Press pause to go through your answers and make any corrections to your mistakes.